everybody. Raul here for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of not chatting with just one bass player, but a whole group where everybody plays bass. We've got Sarah, Gianni, Marshall, and Joel. You know them as Walk Off the Earth. Hey! So we always like to know a little bit about the background, and since there's all of you that have a story, but how did you guys get started in music and on bass? And I'll start with you, Sarah, because you're the most adept and skilled bassist from what I
really am. So I was born in 2002 when the bass guitar really started to advance, which you know because it was a big part. It was like basically when your magazine started. Yes. And I was born right into playing bass. So I basically was born with a bass in my hands, and that's been my favorite instrument ever since. I am the best at it in the world.
Baby got bass.
Baby got bass. So that's it. It's a very simple story, really.
There you go. And Johnny?
Yes, I mean, I love bass, and I love drums, and drums and bass are best friends. So yeah, it's just like I like instruments that you can play with a percussive feel, and that's kind of how I play the bass. I'm always just whacking on it and hitting on it, and yeah, it's a beautiful sound that it makes. I love it.
Very cool. And I'll pass this over to you guys.
I'll echo the whole marriage of drums and bass thing. My best buddy, my best musical buddy in general, is a bass player, and I really fell in love with music over jamming with him and finding that kind of lock, that relationship between drums and bass.
You mean her?
I meant Sarah. I definitely meant Sarah, not my buddy Mike.
There we go.
Yeah.
The bass. This is a true story, actually. So before Walk Off actually existed, Johnny was in a band called G-Spot Tornado. And the dude that was our drummer at the time, him and I went to watch Johnny play a live show because he was recording some songs that weren't Walk Off the Earth yet. They were just songs. And he was on stage because G-Spot Tornado was very aggressive, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs, and it would last like 30 seconds while he's slapping the bass into this crazy, ridiculous solo. And it was one of the craziest bass performances I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, that guy's pretty good at bass. And that was it.
There you go. Well, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, you probably already know it, that the very first electric bass was made for a woman.
That's true.
Paul Tootmark made the bass for his wife out of Seattle. And unfortunately, he didn't have the marketing expertise that Leo Fender did.
Yeah.
And so it kind of went by the way.
That happens, you know, and the little guy can't make his way up.
He moved on to making slide guitars and other stuff too. So I mean,
what was the main difference for the female geared bass guitar? Like the frets,
the size. It was size proportionate for her hands, and he called it the electric bass fiddle. Oh. And the instrument cable is permanently attached to it, like a lamp that you'd plug into the wall. Yeah. So we had the opportunity to see one. Yeah. And we had a friend who's a bass player from Chile actually play, and it still plays.
Okay, with the original cable?
Yes.
Whoa.
So it still works, and you know he hand wound his pickups, and it was all part of the things going electric at the time. Moving along, you guys are by far, in my opinion, the most unique group in your approach to how you work on all of these songs, and our publication has been going just about as long as you guys have been doing this, and I've been listening ever since, and it's meant so much to me listening to the tunes. Some of them predate, like Material Girl is amazing, and I've never known of another group that would even touch a theremin. And then to add to that, the fact that you're so fond of the U-basses, which Kala is been great with that kind of stuff, and I don't know, they just released flat wounds. For it, so that should be really interesting. So I guess the big question that people would want to know is, how do you come up with these ideas? Because everything you do is so unique.
We were actually really happy when we got the U-bass because it's so small and perfect to travel with. And it's great for live shows because otherwise we have to bring like big pieces of equipment with us. So having the U-basses are pretty awesome. And you'll see them tonight actually in the live show. We throw them around. And
they actually rival like a P-bass for recording. Like we use it on a bunch of recordings. The sound is like so round and full. They're crazy. And I don't know how they get that sound out of a small thing. But we're not even answering his question right now. Like I forgot it. What was your question?
How do you? It's Portland. That's the way this works. Yeah. How do you get the ideas and the creative process to do what you do with these songs? Because in so many instances, how you do it, you make it your own. To me, it's better than the original in so many cases.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's just the way we think. I don't know. It's like it's just what we do. I mean, it's hard to explain how we come up with the ideas because they're just normal ideas to us. So it's a tough question. I mean, we don't have any wrong answers. Somebody says something, the stupider the idea, the better usually.
Yeah.
Well, and dissecting it, I know that you've done a lot of looping too. And I think that when you look at music in layers, you're kind of picking it apart and everybody has their part. But also you've done so many unconventional things. I mentioned the theremin, but if it's a Tupperware with rocks in it or garbage cans with broken plates or whatever, it has musicality. There's music in all of the sounds.
For sure, yeah.
Some of that stuff just happens because if we're on tour or we're in a place where we don't have access to actual instruments, we just like look around the room and go, what can we use instead? Like we need a shaker, so there's a box of Tic Tacs, or like a bag of chips, or we need a snare, so let's smash a plate or whatever. Like it really is just genuinely because we don't have access to the ones that.
I don't want to be rude, but I want to look something up on my phone because I want to show you something. So I'm just gonna when you're doing your next question, I'm just gonna be on my phone for a second. But I have something really cool to show you that we're gonna be working with.
Because the bass population is very gear centric, and we all have our favorites, but you guys have like the big treasure chest with instruments from what I see. Do you have a favorite bass that you play? I know you like the U basses.
I'm about to find you my favorite bass. Where is it?
I'll throw in a vote for our wash tub bass that we actually knocked up ourselves, which is really cool. And we had a fan build us another wash tub bass that's super, super cool. I don't know if that's what G's pulling up right now. It's super
the one
customized.
With the picture of you guys on
yes,
that was so cool.
So that's amazing. I mean, those are my favorite because they're just the story behind them is so cool, right?
Mm-hmm. We also have a large guitar. It's really large, and I think the strings on it are legit piano strings, and it actually sounds like a bass. So we've used that guitar in a few videos and even in a few recordings where it just...
The big guitar.
It's the big ass guitar.
Is that the black one?
And it's like a bass, yeah, and it's like 7 feet tall, and it's huge.
So we are going to be making a music video with this amazing instrument that someone built. It's a 24-string bass. Wow. Check it out. It's right there. I'll show the camera. It's hard to see. It's really small.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So this guy, someone sent him this. He's like a guitar guy, and someone sent him this, and he mentioned us in the video. He's like, "Oh, it'd be great if Walk Off the Earth were to make a music video for this." So I reached out to him, and now he's going to send us the instrument. It's a 24-string bass, and we're gonna put everyone on top of it, and we're gonna all play it at once.
And my guess is you might be aware of the big dispute there is in the bass community over extended range.
Yeah.
So whenever anybody has more than 4 strings. They howl like dogs at the mailman. It's like, how could it be?
They're not thinking clearly because you can only have how many people can play 4 strings? 4?
Well, according to them, Jocko only needed 4. But
but we want to put more people on one bass. So
there you go.
We need more strings.
You mentioned the extended range. Any other favorites? You mentioned the wash tub bass.
Yeah. We use a cello as bass sometimes. That's pretty. I love the sound of that. I've always loved it when people pluck a cello or any sort of large instrument. It's a great sound. Yeah.
We've got the guitar ukulele, which has a whole low register bass harp kind of thing on it. I don't know if you've seen that, but we're gonna play that tonight.
Oh, we have a 24-foot guitar that's actually just a giant bass. I don't know if you've seen that. We did if you Google big ass guitar, Walk Off the Earth.
While you were Googling, we talked about it.
Yeah, it's essentially a bass. Yeah.
24 feet.
Yeah.
Well, and have any of you had a chance to hear the octo bass?
Oh,
yes.
It's the giant upright. It never goes anywhere. There's one in Phoenix at the museum.
Yeah, you can't travel with them.
Yeah. Oh no, they're installed in one place and they have to be left there.
Yeah. My old band, we used to stand up like an upright bass. We've used an upright bass in a couple of our videos before. Those are fun. They hurt your fingers.
And this one is so massive that you really can't fret. It works with a series of capos. You push levers while you bow.
Wow.
And it has some notes which actually project like almost across the building. You're standing in the right place. That the note just goes kind of right through you. So if they ever let you set up to play it, that would be a cool place to be.
In Phoenix?
It's in There's one in Phoenix. They used to be built for churches. I think there's only like 2 or 3 left in the world. We managed to get the curator to play it for us.
Yeah.
And so that was a hoot.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
Again, it's beyond what most people see. Other favorite gear, because I know you guys get a lot of love from the I know Kala with the U basses.
Yeah.
Any other shout outs to any of the gear companies?
Yeah, there's a beautiful guitar that comes from Switzerland. They're called Relish.
Okay.
And they've been building some guitars for us, and they're incredible, like the way that they sound when they're plugged in, and they're electric guitars. And then we have, of course, Blueberry Guitars, who designed, we designed it, but they built our Guiharpalele. They make like incredible acoustic guitars with this amazing art.
Beautiful
they send them to
artwork.
Bali? Is it Bali or Bali?
Indonesia.
Bali. And this artist there does a bunch of art on top of the guitar, which is really great. So yeah, but we have a lot of amazing companies that we're working with these days that are making some really cool stuff. So
Nice.
We're very fortunate.
Looking ahead, I know that you're doing this tour, and a big part of it is commemorating Mike, which again we were very, very sorry to when that news came across, but it looks like you guys have a purpose and a cause with the tour as well. And I saw the video, make sure we share it as part of this article. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, when you lose somebody that you love, it's one of the hardest things that as a human you will go through. And we feel fortunate because he was such a legend and such an inspiration to so many people that we're feeling love from all over the world. So that's been really special to us. So this whole tour has just been us sharing these moments with people who we don't necessarily know, but we do know them. And they, absolutely adored Beard Guy and his character and genuinely the man that he was, aside from being Beard Guy. And that's really special. So what's really important to us right now is just to keep his spirit alive and to keep his legend alive and to keep all of those. I mean, one really great thing that we get to do is look back on all the amazing videos and songs that we've made with him. And, he's in our house every single day because we have small children and they watch our videos all the time. So that's a nice, heartwarming thing to have, I think. And I think so for all of us, and I think for all the fans to be able to still see him even though he's gone. So, yeah.
And I know I wanted to ask because you have such a body of work, but do you have a favorite song? It's kind of like your kids. You kind of have to try to love them all the same, but everybody always has a favorite.
Any song I get to play bass in, that's my favorite song.
Yeah. We fight over who gets to play bass.
There you go.
Yeah.
Any particular one?
Straighten my hair,
Yeah.
and then I get up there.
Yeah. We always love the new songs that we just finished writing and that we're just putting into the set. Because as an artist, it's always fun to play like fresh songs. But I think there's like ones that obviously we all can agree that we love playing, like Red Hands and Hold On, and some of those.
We've been doing medleys lately, and those for me are the funnest songs. 'Cause especially live, you get to dance and sing and prance around like a fairy and just
bass free.
Be happy. Just be a fairy bass.
Here we
Just be
go.
a bass fairy.
Here we go. How about you guys? Any favorite songs?
I'll echo the medley thing. It's really fun to, like you were saying, the large body of work at this point. It's very hard to choose which songs we want to play. So we just kind of condense it all, smush it. It's almost like a DJ set. DJs will sometimes only play 20 seconds of a certain song, right?
Yeah.
So we took that mentality. We have these medleys happening now, and we also have our crazy table that we use. I like that stuff a lot. It's fun. It keeps it fun for us and for the fans as well.
Very cool. Marshall?
Well, in those medleys, I get to play the U bass during a lot of those medleys, and I also get to throw it. So I would go with, I will echo the medley.
The medleys?
I like throwing basses.
There
Get
we
them
go.
out of my
Well,
hands.
and that brings up a question. You guys have great hands. I mean, better than the pro football players because they don't catch everything that gets thrown at them. But
Neither do we.
Neither
do we.
We don't have to catch it. Like, we just throw it.
somebody else has to
In the early
catch
days,
it.
we used to do a lot of the catching, but now I feel like we've got to a spot where we don't have to do the catching anymore.
I actually got in trouble
We
the
pay
other
people for that.
I got in trouble the other day from one of our stage hands, Zach, because I throw a guitar at him in the very first song, and he legit was like, "You suck at that throw. We need to work on it." So at sound check, he like took me aside and was like, "Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
Stop trying to kill me on stage."
So are we going to see B-roll of failed catches and throws?
Oh, there is. There's actually B-roll of him, like me throwing that guitar and it almost taking his head off recently up on our Instagram. But
we could do like a master cut though, like a won't fail supercut.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Unfortunately, we haven't really like captured a lot of the fail moments because they are
usually in rehearsals and stuff.
Yeah, they're all in rehearsals or like when we're coming up with ideas.
That's true.
But it's happened.
There's still plenty of time for us to fail though, right? So it's like
Lots of time for failure. We actually have a instrument graveyard in our basement of the studio that we work out of. So
there was one incident where one of our old stagehands threw me an acoustic guitar very high, and I caught it, and the body broke right off as I caught it. Oh. Yeah. It never hit the ground. It couldn't handle the pressure of being in a woat show.
Yeah.
Well, not everything is meant to travel very well. I have to say, and I'm sure a lot more effort goes into making the videos than we see. It's kind of like Cirque du Soleil acts that they make it look so easy. And I'm sure it's not just a one take, let's walk in and everybody just do this. There's got to be hours of work and all that.
No, it is. It's pretty easy.
Well, it's important. It's important that you make it look easy. Like I said, with the Cirque acts, when you see some guy holding another guy with one arm up there and he's not even shaking, you gotta go, "Well, man, he makes that look really easy."
Yeah.
Well, and looking towards the future, I know there's only a few more stops on the tour. Any plans? Usually, kind of perpetual motion things that we're looking at doing in the future.
I can't wait for my kids to go back to school in September. Because summertime is full on, but we have a new album coming out soon. We have a new single coming out in a few weeks. And lots of stuff in the works. We got a cartoon in the works, and we got tons of video ideas. Lots. We're just consistently doing what we do always.
We're making a Beatles medley with all of the Beatles songs, all of their good, like not good, but all of the hit Beatles songs, which is like 27, in order of when they came out, and we're mashing them into like a 3-minute song, which is I'm really excited about.
There's a lot of great. That was something I was always wondering in selecting songs. There's so many good pieces, and like a group like Beatles and things. Yeah, you can just do.
It took us a long time to arrange it, so we have like all the best parts of each song, and they all go into each other kind of in the same key, and it was a lot of work just arranging it, so now we have to learn how to play it. Gotcha. Which might take a while too.
Gotcha. Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us. We're looking forward to seeing tonight's show. Awesome. We're looking forward to seeing everything else that you guys do, because like I said, I'm never disappointed with a new creative thing, whether it's a cappella, whether it's bizarre instruments, whether it's whatever it is. I can't wait, and I'm just so excited to continue to see it. So folks, make sure you check out, if they're coming to a town near you, walkofftheearth.com be the best place. And of course, if you just put them in YouTube, you're going to have a whole lot of great music to enjoy and listen to, and you're going to probably want to take it back 1 or 2 times to see how the guy kicks the cymbals on the roof. Or you're going, with both feet? He hit those with both feet? How do they do that? So anyway, this has been Raul with Bass Musician Magazine, Walk Off the Earth, coming to you live from sunny Portland at the Keller Auditorium.
Yeah. Peace.